Alright, well in this video I am going to leave my skill level and make something out of wood. Now back in a previous life I became a journeyman ship fitter. Technically I was a shop fitter, but they combined X11 and X12. I was X12. I built bulkheads and decks for aircraft carriers, platforms for submarines, forward platforms for submarines, and so that was fun. I really enjoyed it. I can't say enough about working in the shipyard. It was extremely rewarding. But anyway, that was many, many, many lifetimes ago. And wood is unforgiving. See, if you cut a piece of metal a little bit short, you can take a piece of brass, and I was stick welding, and you could just fill it in and reshape it, grind it down, add that little bit back, and make it fit. With wood, you gotta buy another piece if you're short. Alright, so what the heck am I doing? I'm making a cup of coffee, that's what I'm doing. You know, the important things come first. Alright, I always struggle with these things. Here's the closed end, and it is open. So we will French press it here in a second. And now I'm going to turn around and show you what I'm going to do. Alright, we are going down under. That's right, down under the sink. So we had our kitchen redone, but one of the things that was not redone was all this junk underneath the sink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all this junk out of the sink. And I'm going to build a couple of drawers that slide in and out, and they are going to be custom made, unfortunately. So I do have some plans, but the drawings are gonna have to be altered. I can't use the measurements on the drawings. So anyway, so a lot of things I have to consider is the opening, the size of the opening. It's also a 1/4 inch drop, and unfortunately the light on the garbage disposal, when it doesn't see movement, it shuts off, but that's okay. Then I also have some space behind the drawers here. So what I'm saying is I have a lot of technical issues I have to deal with that's not important. At least I don't have a bar here. Also, the garbage disposal is tapered down, so depending on how high things come up is going to determine how wide I can have my drawers so they can slide in and out. Also, I'm not going to be able to go all the way back to the back with the drawers because I have the dishwasher, stay on for a minute, on this side going back, so the drawers cannot go all the way back to the wall. And on this side I have the dishwasher coming into the garbage disposal. I have the drain. I have electricity back there, got some current, have the hoses for the faucet along with the movable hose because our faucet, you know, can be pulled out to length. So we have all that going on. So I get to clear everything out and then start some measurements. So there is the garbage disposal. You see it goes almost all the way down. It's only like 4 inches there. And then the width, depending on how high after I put my foundation down and the drawer guides on. That's going to bring the bottom up, and then the sides are coming up, so I'll have to move the sides. Well, I'm on this side. I'll have to move the sides in the further it comes up. And then I'm also limited by the drain here, but I won't be that high. It's just a storage bin so that everything can be pulled out. Drawers come out to give you better access to all this stuff. Lots of stuff. I really don't know how much of it's going to fit into the drawers. You know, there'll still be plenty of room around the drawers to put things we rarely use, you know, back in there. But anyway, here we go. All right, so here's one of my apprentice tools. You can see it says X12101. I don't think that was my employee ID number because we used Social Security numbers back in those days. So that might have been the tool set number, you know. For this graduation class, there was at least 101 tool sets being given out. That's what I'm thinking. Like I said, it was, you know, decades ago. All right, so I'm going to make my first cut, and I'm going to create the foundation. So I'm going to make one cut long. It's going to be 32.5 inches. That's the widest I can make it, and then I'll figure out the depth and go the other way. Okay, I apologize if I repeat myself. Hopefully I'll catch it in editing, but let's see, 33, I'll probably repeat measurements, 32.5 this way, and 22 3/4 back. So I'll make that, actually it's 13/16, but I'm going to make it 22 3/4 and cut on the line, which is going to take a little bit extra material off to give it plenty of room. Of course, on the sides, I have absolutely tremendous amount of room. I'm going to have to fill in that space or otherwise screw the foundation down to the platform that's on there now. And the back, I want to leave plenty of room. You know, there's hoses and electrical and all kinds of stuff there. I just want to have plenty of room for it to sit in place. Okay, here's another apprentice school tool. I know, because I never would have spent the money on a Starrett. You know, not in my cheap years. So I have that. Did that a lot in the shipyard. And again, back a million years ago when I was a metal worker. Oh, there it is. There's my soapstone marker. We used to mark metal with soapstone. And I was going to say I still have some. Yeah, there she blows. Oh. Still have some soapstone left over from the good old days. Days gone by. Look at that. Got a whole unused one. Wow. My gosh. Memories. Alright, back to work. Hey, I could do a tool review video. Maybe later. Anyway, I bought this Milwaukee cutoff tool, and I had to purchase a wood cutter separately because, you know, the blades it comes with are for like steel, you know, diamond tile, carbide, abrasive, and a metal cutoff wheel, you know. So, you know, it's not really a circular saw per se, but hey, I'm going to use it as one. And I do have a circular saw around here somewhere, but I looked in the basement, I didn't see it right away. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. I have this little guy here I'm going to use because, hey, I'm not a woodworker. This is a once project. I might do some other wood stuff, maybe. Kind of doubt it. But anyway, let me make some cuts. Alright, I will show you how this goes on. Let me see here. Oh yeah, I need to do that. Then that pulls off the guard. Then we can put on the wheel. There's a button here on the side to hold it. Get a lock on it. Oh, it's left-handed. So we'll go clockwise to remove the screw, and we'll put the blade on here and note the direction. So it's going to claw from the front. All right, this is keyed. Our screw goes on and it's left-handed. So we will turn it in the loosening direction to tighten it. I don't know what size Allen this is because it was provided. And you want to get that good and tight because this thing's going to be screaming. Alright, gets a 12-volt battery. Put our guard back on. It's a good guide. Alright, voila, ready to do some cutting. I don't really have a bag, a catcher bag. Didn't come with one. I don't have one. Don't really care. Alright, 4 lights. We're good to go. Okay, I have my guide set up. You know, it's just a piece of molding that I had left over. I have some other pieces of wood I could use too, but anyway, you carpenter guys, you can tell me how crazy I am. You know, what the heck are you doing? But oh well, just a homeowner making some drawers for his wife. Alright, I had to go with the bigger battery. I mean, it just sucked the life out of this little battery. Boom. 4 lights to 2 lights, and I didn't even get 6 inches. I mean, it really ate it up, so I had to put a bigger battery on it, and it worked great. Alright, next cut. Now I'm not going to show you every little thing. I'll just take some shots here and there. You know, just need to get to work. This isn't a video on how to make some drawers for your wife underneath the sink. Anyway, keep going. Okay, because I'm not a carpenter, I could have some non-carpenter ideas. So instead of making the drawer uniform all the way across, what if I have it so that when it closes, the part that goes underneath the garbage disposal is lower? You know, like have like a little cutout, so that when it's fully closed, it'll be high up here, but low down there, kind of like a little cutout or something. I was originally just going to make it smaller and have everything the same height, but I don't know. Maybe I'll make everything the same height and then cut it down as needed to make it fit. Because it's going to be much higher than this drawer is showing, because I'm going to have a bunch of stuff going on. All of the drawer bottoms are going to be, the glides, the slides, whatever they are going to add some height. Also, the bottom is going to be a 1/4 inch higher. So I have quite a bit going on there, and I could probably just notch out what needs to be notched out. What do you think of that? All right. All right, so there is my cutout for the garbage disposal, and just in case, I did not mention it earlier. I did a glue and screw and made this wall here for the dishwasher hoses and check valve to sit back here, and that way I have a nice wall to put the sliders on, because I have it rear mounted. So you just don't willy-nilly buy these online. Just don't pick one. There's all different kinds. So this is the rear mount. If I can get it on there on camera. There we go. So that kind of expands a little bit. Because don't forget, my original measurement was 18 inches. So I want to make sure I'm captured. I want to make sure my 18 inches. This is, here, let me pull it out a little bit. As you can see, I have plenty of room here. Let's see, can go all the way to there. So there's my maximum. You see I have a little space there, which is what I wanted in case I put a front on the drawer. I don't know what I'm doing with the drawers yet. So that, as they say, is that. And then I noticed, I thought I was going to have to put a board up here and screw it into the side, but I see there are places where I can screw it into the bottom. Now this small hole, I can access the back one, but not the front one without disassembly, so I'm not going to do that. So I'll just use some larger screws and lock her down on the floor that way, instead of putting up yet another wall and screwing it into the wall, which is still an option. It's not ruled out yet. Continuing on. All right, so on my test fit, what I found is when I put these together, because that's how I want it to go, this gap here is just a little bit wider than the plywood I'm going to use as the wall between them. So what I decided to do was to grind a little bit off of each of these rear brackets here. You can see I just need a fraction of an inch. And that should do it. And then I'll cut a piece of wood going down the center line for these rails to sit in. Okay, I got my tools nice and neat and lined up to give the illusion of organization. And our lower deck subassembly is coming along. It reminds me of the shipyard. I'm building a deck. Absolutely hilarious. So what's going to happen with the drawers is they're just going to be custom built. Luckily I didn't build the drawers first. And there are my guides over there, and I learned something as I went through the details of the instructions. There are about 5, maybe 6 of these different ones, so you need to be careful. You need to know ahead of time what you want. Don't just willy-nilly go on Amazon, click buy now. So there's that. So we'll get our measurements out. I'm going to start at the back, make the back panel, and go forward. See how long it needs to be, and then let this determine where the front is. Alright, the guide rails came with 2 sets of screws. They're number 6s, but what do you use where? Well, the difference is 5/8 and 1/2 inch, but these are flathead and these are round head. So that made it pretty easy to figure out. So the back bracket is flat. We'll use the round heads. And these are countersunk. So we'll use the flatheads. So that wasn't bad. Okay, I think it's a little time for abracadabra. Ta-da! So it looks like we're going to need a little more abra, a little less cadabra, and get a second coat on there. And let's see. I know quite a bit it's going to be hidden, but that's okay because when the light comes on from the garbage disposal, there'll be a white background for it to reflect off of and hopefully brighten it up a little bit, even though the drawers are going to be covering most of this. I am going to paint them too. Okay, much better, much better. A lot of my mistakes are hidden. I didn't use any wood filler, especially in the void areas. In the shipyard, void areas were painted black, but this is not the shipyard. Another thing I learned in the shipyard was never ever volunteer for anything. Yeah, my first life lesson way back in the day was I volunteered for third shift. And they said, okay, we want you to start second shift next week. And I said, I volunteered for third shift. And they said, we want you to start second shift next week. And I said, oh, I have 2 weeks of vacation. I'll be taking that. And when I came back from my 2-week vacation, I told them I quit. So, if you're in the military, it's even 10 times worse to volunteer. So, lesson of the day, do not volunteer. All right, moving on, the drawers. I'm going to define the width by what I made. The length is 18 inches overall length. I'm also going to have to go to the hardware store and purchase 5/8 sheet of plywood to make the drawers out of, or 5/8 wood, whatever they have, whatever I find, because the 3/4 just isn't going to do it. The 3/4, the problem is on the side. I can try and close in the area and make the inside of the drawer smaller by, you know, that little bit. But the problem is the rails. So anyway, off to the store. All right, after spending a ridiculous amount of time looking over the generic plans here for the drawer, I was able to figure out the back panel. And you can see, you know, everything is so generic. However, they're basing everything on the opening, and I am not. So that's where the confusion came in. You can see I had to do a bunch of stuff. Turns out that both sides are even. Hey, I got lucky there. So I have 13¼ going across here from the edge to the edge. So that's pretty good. I like that. And then I have 5/8 overhang because the board is going to sit down here. But the back panel, I was able to figure out the holes, and I came up with 15/16 from the edge in and 7/8 up. So those are my two measurements for the hole, and that is to go here. Kind of fits in there. Let me do a little quickie zoom here for you. See this guy right here, this little tab. It's on both sides, left and right. So I need two holes for the drawer to fit into. Then I also need a slot. I need to cut out a slot, and I was actually able to confirm my drawing, my measurements on the drawing, which shocked me. But anyway, it's a 1/2 inch up, it's 5/8 in, and 1 3/8 is the cutout. Because don't forget, I have a floor. You know, there's going to be a floor in there. It's going to sit on the rails, and then the edges hang off to the side. And again, I think this is non-traditional, but I'm going to have the front and the back going all the way across, and then the side pieces are going to be whatever they're going to be. I think it's like about 17 inches. These are 18-inch rails, so I think it's going to be like 17 inches. You can't really see. So what do I have here? I've got about 17 and a half, 17, 9/16, somewhere in there. And then, you know, I'm going to go 5/8 out and 5/8 in. So let's see, I'll move it 5/8 or so this way and have the front face here at approximately 17 inches. So the backboard will run about 17 inches, something like that. And it'll overhang like a 1/2 inch down on the edge here. Alright, fun stuff. Continuing on. Alright, well, I did want to show off my new toy. Another Milwaukee tool that I actually purchased for another job. But that's okay. Ooh. Can I zoom out? Will it even fit in the camera? Anyway, it's an 18 gauge. I needed 18. Like I said, for another job. That definitely makes life easier. Alright, let's see what we have. Alright, good deal. Now, you see how I have it back a little bit? I might bring it out here. I have plenty of room to maneuver because these are not, I haven't screwed them in yet. Oops, wrong demo. See, it still slides on the back brace there. See, I can pull them forward. I haven't screwed them into the side or the bottom yet. Also, the garbage disposal, I think I'm going to have to cut this down and, you know, drop. I'm only going to cut out what's around the garbage disposal, so it's not going to be uniform drawer height all the way around. It's going to be a dip in it here in the middle. All right, making progress. Still have floors and to the drawers and some other things to do. Also, I suspect I'm going to have to cut out a little groove or something to make room for the garbage disposal, but just wanted to show you the test that it functions properly. So I'll probably move them out to about here when they're installed, something like that, because this is the inside edge of the cabinet. So anyway, we'll see how it goes. Alright, so there's some of the complications I ran into. As you can see, there's a vent running right underneath there. And then there's my subassembly. Then there is the garbage disposal, and it's a big one. It's a 1-horse motor. Then there's the plumbing. Then there's the dishwasher feeding in, and let me show you all that. Alright, so then again on the left we have the check valve for the water going in. If it detects a leak, it'll shut it off. Then we have the discharge hose, and it comes all the way around to the other side of the garbage disposal. And of course, what you can't see is all the plumbing for the faucet, but that's up and out of the way. And as you can see, the garbage disposal is in the way, so I'm going to custom make the drawers. I was originally going to space it out so that this was the void area, but I decided against that, and I decided to make the whole area a drawer. Alright, we'll get the coffee going, and then I'll show you the drawer, how I'm going to cut it out. Alright, so here you can see my pattern. I decided to angle it a little bit instead of a 90 notch out. I don't know. And I'll probably round this corner out when I sand it. But I've got to run all the way along here and then cut out this corner for the back, and it should be able to, this is the left side, should be able to slide back with this notched out. And then the only thing is we'll have to put low items that are not tall over here, and everything else can have very tall items. You saw there was plenty of room for tall things to stand up, so not a problem. Alright, so it's cut and paint today. Gotta get it done. Yes, I did test fit it, so I don't know if it was the thickness of the paint, a couple coats of paint or what, but it was definitely barely touched right here, and it barely touched pretty much the whole length here. So as you can see, I'm sanding down the finished product, semi-finished. Didn't pass QC inspection, and I do feel a little hump right here, so it kind of comes up right in here. So I'm going to sand that down, clean up my mess, and repaint this, or test fit it like 5 or 6 times, and I'll show it to you. Alright, you may notice I have a glove on, and that's not to keep paint off my hands, it's to keep blood off of the product. So anyway, it clicks in real easy, but I didn't get it to click in, and I didn't really know how it went. I didn't know what clicked in where. So I got up underneath there, and I put my thumb under there to pull this third rail. There's like 3 rails. Pull this third rail out, and da-da-da-da, blood! So be careful. Those stupid things are sharp. Alright, now we get to watch the paint dry. See my bloody thumb. It's got some cuts on it. OSHA reportable. Alright. Let me show you the final test fit. The one that works. Ta-da! Alright, now I get to put the doors back on, and that can be intimidating, at least for me also. It's the quiet close, soft close, just like those were, only for cabinet doors, and it can be intimidating. So the only thing really I have to deal with, since I didn't touch anything, is this screw right here. So I'll just have to make sure they're lined up when I install them, or finish installing them. All right, if you use stainless steel tools, you don't get magnet assist help holding the screw here. So there's always that. So if you need 3 hands, you're SOL. Oh, I'm set real low here. Hang on. Bump it up to a 6. Yeah, I didn't want to cause more trouble by stripping it out. That's all I need is to prolong the job. No, still a little dilly with that a little bit. More better. Also, did you notice the door's upside down? I put it on the wrong side. Well, let me take care of that. More better. All right, I'm calling that good. Looks like it's aligned at the top. Pretty close. Pretty close. And my gap seems to be the same all the way down. So we're calling that good. All right, get the batteries in here and so that the light comes on. And put everything away. And remember, even if you didn't take it out, you've got to put everything back. And then you'll put it back in correctly. Or the wife will rearrange it, even if you put it in exactly the way you found it. So, all good. And there's my project. I guess I'll close by taking a final shot with everything in there. However, I'd like to point out the rails are sharp. Watch your thumb. I only used 60 and 80 grit sandpaper. I knew I was painting my project, so you know I didn't need the ultra fine furniture finish. There was a lot of shifting and design on the go kind of situation to deal with the problems at hand. So it wasn't, you know, I had a good plan from the beginning and then, you know, deviated here and there as I needed to. So, pretty happy with it. I mean, you know, that's not much space right in here that's going to be open for the drawer to slide, so I don't think that's a big loss, as opposed to having the drawers all the way out so that the edges clear. The garbage disposal, I mean, gosh, you'd have to look how far I'd have to be out. Pretty far. Also, you know, there was a lip down here. Right here, there was a lip, so I bought a 1/4-inch sheet of plywood to take that up so it was flat, and then also the rails provide some clearance, so I didn't have to deal with that. Although I could have put them on the ground. You see, it would have cleared, but I think that's more better. All right, let's get to the final shot, which is like going to be about half hour, 45 minutes of putting everything away and getting it right. All right, there's the mowing light by itself. Oh, just went out. So you can see how much light it actually produces, which is good. Don't want the kitchen light coming down in there to kind of influence or bias the shot. I don't like doing that. Let's see, it took me Monday afternoon to Wednesday night, so 2 solid days of work if you just count the working hours. 16, 20 hours. So that's a good long time to be hearing your wife saying, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you?" Actually, no, my wife was great about this. So Let's get everything put back away. And I'll do a final closing shot. Alright, this is definitely a happy wife, happy life video. So we get everything put away, nice and neat. And had a little fun project. A lot of trial and tribulations to deal with. But pulled it off for a non-carpenter. For an old shipyard metal worker. Well, thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate it. Have a great day.